originally self-taught
Yeah.
on piano. How does one go from being self-taught to arranging for the Ted Heath Orchestra and being the house pianist at Ronnie Scott's? I know there were several steps before you were arranging for Ted Heath, but
well, the writing thing happened. You know, you just. Oh, I just really fancied trying to write something. You know, sort of way back then. You know, it was just sort of simple things that I wouldn't want to hear now. But it's a process of trying it, having people play it, learning by mistakes, and just keep doing it until you're fairly happy with it, you know.
Now, if you could take us to the moment, when was the first moment you were drawn to jazz? I understand you, somewhere in there you heard boogie woogie recordings.
I was first drawn to jazz when I was, I think it'd be about 9 or 10 years old. A friend of mine, his parents had a record of Scratching in the Gravel, Andy Kirk's Clouds of Joy, and Mary Lou Williams' composition and arrangement. And that really, you know, at that early age, it blew me away, and every time I was at his house, I just kept playing it and playing it. And that's when it first hit me.
And so at the time, how much, trying to paint the scene of jazz in England, 9 years old, that would have been 1935, but as we progress into the 40s and after the war and the 50s, how much did you have to search for this music at that time? How readily available was it?
It wasn't terribly available. I think in the 50s we used to rely on people bringing back records. You know, people who were on the boats would bring back records from the States. You know, that's how we first heard bebop. There were radio programs, but I think it was just one program that went out for half an hour on Saturday, and it was swing music. But you know, with regard to bebop, that came via records being brought back. So that's how, you know, and then, you know, we would transcribe them and learn them, do it that way.
And as the popularity of the music increased, when did you start to feel that this wasn't going to be a passing fad, that it wasn't simply for the exotic American flavor, but that it was actually gaining some a hold on people?
I never thought about it, and I was never aware of it. You know, I just did what I wanted to do alongside, you know, my peers. Felt the same way. I don't think any of us thought about, you know, how it was being accepted here, how it was expanding. We just wanted to, you know, to play it, and that's what we did.
And so, in the 1950s and then in the early 60s, when we get into the Ronnie Scotts, we tend to, you know, here nowadays we look at jazz as very refined music. But who was going to these clubs at the time? I mean, what was the scene, the people like who were coming to these places? Again, because we can romanticize quite a bit.
It was a, you know, complete cross section. You know, people with ordinary jobs, lawyers, the odd policeman. You know, they were drawn from all quarters of society.
And it's impossible to talk about your career without asking about Ronnie Scott. How is it to get the story directly from you that you were approached that you landed the gig as the house pianist there? What's the actual story behind that?
Ronnie said, "Do you want a gig?" I said, "Okay," and. I think I got the gig before the, you know, the Americans came over, and so you know, it just happened. I just happened to be there. I wasn't specifically hired to play with those people, but I think I was there a couple of months before all that happened.
Mm-hmm. And what was your relationship like with Ronnie and Pete King, who just passed away this December, correct?
Yeah, with Ronnie, it was good. With Pete, not so good. You know, there was a lot of ripping off that used to go on, and Pete and I never really got on, really. You know, even to the end. We never had a blow up, or you know, it was just sort of unspoken disrespect for each other.
And when you had that gig, from what I understand, you used to take the bus home.
Yeah.
At 3 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Could you talk about what that was like to be in that atmosphere, and how maybe how trying it might have been to be playing those shows and be out late and so on and so forth?
Well, it was in the 60s, and so, you know, the scene in Soho was leaving. It was drugs ahoy, and you know, you did have to take the odd aspirin to keep going, and you know, especially working with people like Ron and Kirk. You know, apart from the music, physically, it was very demanding because, you know, he played hard, and you know, we did have to take things to keep awake and keep going.
And generally speaking, for that time period, what was the standard length of time that you would play in an evening? For example, how many sets would that be?
Well, Monday through Thursday would be, I think, from 9 till about 1, and then Friday and Saturday would be, I think, 8 till midnight, and then 1 through to 4 or 5. Then occasionally a Sunday afternoon concert at the club. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean that adds up to like a whole day's worth of,
Yeah, I mean,
physical labor.
Yeah, you know, during that time, I just used home as a place to sleep. You know, by the time I got up, it was, you know,
Time to do it all over again.
Yeah, 2 or 3 hours before I had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, it was like that for 6 years, and my wife put up with it. No, I mean, she was a great help. You know, and I had Clark and my daughter Sarah, so she was taking care of them, and yeah, it was tough for her, but she didn't complain. Not until later.